Hello, my name is Dan, and this is a presentation for CIS 75, Introduction to Information Security at Cabrillo College. In this video, I will be talking about Verizon's 2016 Data Breach Investigations Report, otherwise known as the DBIR. This document is an annual publication that provides analysis of information security incidents with an emphasis on data breaches. So what's new in the 2016 DBIR? Well, not much. The threats that have been successful in the past few years continue to be effective now. Malware, as well as social engineering, is prevalent and increasing across the board, while brute force credential attacks have continued to wane. Attacks on point-of-sale systems are continuing to rise, as are phishing campaigns. The time to breach has decreased slightly thanks to the efficacy of phishing, while the time to discovery of that breach has decreased as well. The efficacy of external organizations, such as law enforcement and third-party organizations, to discover data breaches in private systems has also increased, though the report attributes this mostly to the takedown of botnets. And so who is the target of all this action? Well, first of all, the DBIR defines two categories of security events: incidences and breaches. An incident is defined by a security event that compromises the integrity, confidentiality, or availability of an information asset, whereas a breach is defined as an incident that results in the confirmed disclosure, not just potential exposure, of data to an unauthorized party. The table on page 4 tells us that the government sits at the top of the list of incidents, with over 47,000, while the cryptic unknown category came in second with around 9,000 incidents, and the entertainment was a distant third with a little over 2,000. However, if we drill down to confirmed breaches, we see that finance, retail, and accommodation top that particular list. So why the difference? Well, the dominating motivation for attacks in 2015 remained financial, continuing its upward trajectory from the previous years. Of course, attackers will be focusing more of their effort on those systems that contain information that they might be able to turn into a payday. Financial systems contain, financial information, while retail and accommodation systems contain point-of-sales terminals and see a lot of credit card and other payment information. When we look at where exactly systems are being compromised, Figure 6 shows us that while servers top the list, they have been declining over time. On the rise is the compromise of user devices, which includes PCs and point-of-sale systems, as well as the person category, which reflects the efficacy of phishing in the last few years. And so what is phishing? The DBIR defines phishing as a form of social engineering in which a message, typically an email, with a malicious attachment or link is sent to a victim with the intent of tricking the recipient to open an attachment. The majority of phishing cases feature phishing as a means to install persistent malware, which can then steal credentials, redirect traffic, or log input. A major role of phishing is as an entry method onto the network, and from there the attacker can pivot into another vector, such as web application attacks using stolen credentials. One of the predominant examples of malware in 2015 was DRIDEX. DRIDEX is a command and control Trojan that targets banking information and credentials. The infection was mainly centered in Europe, and at its height in June of 2015, 16,000 newly infected systems were reported. The DRIDEX infection chain is as such: an email with an attached Microsoft Office file is sent to a user. If the user opens the attachment, a malicious macro triggers the download of the DRIDEX malware, which then steals credentials and information, which it sends back to the command and control server. So how exactly do we protect against phishing? Well, phishing figures so highly and persistently in the DBIR because it targets what is arguably the most vulnerable piece of an information system, namely the user. The first thing an organization can do is to make sure that an effective spam filter is in place to weed out phishing attempts before they are ever seen by the user. But of course, this is never 100% effective, and some get through. So users on a system need to be properly educated in company policy. They need to know what to expect in a phishing attempt. They need to be taught not to click on questionable links or attachments, and they need to be given and taught to use proper reporting mechanisms so that when a mistake happens, it is reported promptly and steps can be taken to mitigate the damage. In addition to filtering and education, the DBIR suggests proper network segmentation, isolating users from anything of value using infrastructure like firewalls, as well as strong authentication, so that if attackers do gain entry into the network, they are unable to move. And that is it. Thank you very much for watching.